Are you ready? Can Crushers. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock 'em out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit 'em with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break 'em, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers. Let's go.
Hi everyone, this is Ringside Rain and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. And now, here is your host, Mark Martinez.
Thank you for joining me for another Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, the Spotlight Edition. And this one's special. This one is a little special. Not a wrestler, not a promoter. We're going to, it's holiday season essentially. So it is an author, a best-selling author coming on Can Crushers. It's going to be Don Parker, local author from Pittsburgh, to talk about his book, Take Your Shot. There's a little bit about this book that I'm going to wait for the interview to reveal. So I'm going to tell you right now, I have not read it. I don't have a copy or anything. But when we talk to Don, I want to tell him why I don't and what's going on. This is motivational. This is essentially what this book is called, Take Your Shot. It's built around a wrestling experience, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear the whole story, the premise, and everything Don's got to talk about. We also got to know a little bit more about Don. Before we talk about the book, the why, the love for wrestling, and all of that, he's got a lot going on too. So we will get into the interview. Don is holding on the line nicely. So I'll take a little bit more time to tell you about Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff. Guys, again, I'm going to promote them. The Monday Night War t-shirts are out there. The WCW one is awesome. I love the WWE one as well, but the WCW one is awesome. Check them out at collarandelbowwrestlingbrand.com. And then when you check out, use the promo code CANCRUSHERS. All one word, capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers. You'll save 10%. Guys, you know where we are. We're everywhere on the interweb. We are iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Google, Stitcher. The list goes on and on. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we're on there. And where you're listening to this podcast today, please take the time to review and rate us. Give us those 5 stars. That would be awesome. Use it as a feedback. Say Mark's too loud, Mark is too stupid, Mark is whatever. Just use that feedback. Drop us a line on there and say, hey, this is actually a really cool podcast. Anything like that. It really helps. It kicks us up a little bit in the realm of everything. And it's nice. It really is. You can also find us on the old social medias. Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. All of it's at CanCrusher69. Slide into our DMs. If you're an author, just like Don Parker, and want to come on and talk about your book as well. If you're a wrestler, if you're a promoter, a referee, ring announcer, any of those, we love the stories here on Can Crushers, how you got into the wrestling business. And then you can use it as a promotion too if you want. Sure. But you just like talking to me. That's all it is. Or you could do it the old-fashioned way by sending us an email, cancrusher69@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you via the email, I guess. Most people use the DMs, but whatever you want to do. All right, here comes Al Snow and the Hooligans to tell you more about Collar and Elbow. And then when we come back, we'll have best-selling author Don Parker on the line to talk about Take Your Shot.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey, all you stupid Regents math breeders out there. This is Amanda. I'm Elijah Dean, and you are listening to Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome back to Can Crushers, guys. You heard how excited I was in the intro to talk to an author, a home-based author. Amazon bestseller, inspiring voice actor. I got to know more about that. A streamer. The number one thing is why he made it on Can Crushers, because he's a pro wrestling enthusiast. Welcome to the show, Don Parker. And he's an all-around good guy.
Oh, well, thank you very much. A pleasure to be here.
Don, I spoiled it in the beginning a little bit that told everybody, because normally when I talk to a couple authors, you know, I get the book or I ordered or whatever, I don't have your book, which is bad on me for doing an interview. But it's good on you because it's already been ordered. It's a stocking stuffer from my mother-in-law, and I'm not allowed having it until Christmas.
No, fair enough. Actually, whenever I stream, I usually say like, oh, you know, the hardcover or the paperback editions of the book, they make great stocking stuffers, like for sure. So no, I'm happy to hear that, and yeah, I hope she gets a kick out of it.
But no, it's for me. No,
it's for you.
It's for me. I'm not allowed having it until Christmas.
Oh, I don't know. I heard your mother-in-law.
Well, she's the one that bought it. But we were talking about it when your book first released. I'm like, oh my god, I kind of know Don. You know, we go to wrestling in Pittsburgh. We see each other. We run into each other. And I'm like, man, I want to get this book. So the wife translated it to this, and then it became, you know, oh, this is a great present from Mark as stocking stuffer. 18, 20 weeks ago. I'm a son of a bitch. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. The laugh.
Loved ones, aren't they great though?
Yeah, I'm like once I told Kelly, I'm like, he's going to be on the show. Mom's not going to give it to you. I'm like, can you please? I'm sure she has it by now. Well, she does, but she's not going to give it to you. It's a stocking stuffer, Mark. Stop ruining Christmas.
Yeah, don't be a Grinch. Don't be a Grinch.
And I normally am. So, Don, before we get into the meat and the potatoes of this, because Take Your Shot, bestseller. So, congratulations on that, right?
Yeah. Thank you. It was a lot of work, but I had a good support group behind me to get that done.
Yeah. I'm going to do the interview that we kind of do with talent, minus some of the questions and everything, because we want to know more about you. How'd you get your love for passion? Your love for wrestling? I mean, who introduced you to wrestling as a little Don?
So I want to say it was just my brother and my dad. You know, when we were very little. You know, just Sundays. What was it, like 9, 10 o'clock on USA?
Oh yeah.
I was a big Hulk Hogan fan, but like, you know, I think reflecting on it now, I think I was a big Boss Man fan. And especially, you know,
really,
especially later on during the Attitude Era. It's like when he came back as the Boss Man, I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. You know, I love this guy growing up, and he did all those deplorable things as a heel. I'm like, all right, I'm down for this.
Yeah, caskets with the Big Show and everything, right?
Yeah, Pepper, and it's like, ooh, I can't.
Wow, you don't hear many. Did you go back and watch Big Bubba Rogers stuff then as well?
I did. Like, what was that the other one he had in WCW? Guardian Angel?
That was. Did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it was Ray Taylor. I was good with it. I love that thing that he used to do where he would slide underneath the bottom ropes, grab the turnbuckle post, spin himself around, jump back into the ring, and then clothesline a dude. That spot's awesome. I love that. I can't get enough of that.
For as big as he was, I mean, he wasn't as big as Bam Bam or Vader or any, but he was huge size these days, but he was mid-size then. But yeah, he was very agile. Apparently, you're getting me all pumped up to play WrestleFest and have Big Boss Man as my tag team partner tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like he was always my guy. Always my guy. Yeah, so I love to hear that. I love to hear that.
Who'd you have teaming with him? Because I think him and DiBiase are probably one of the best teams on there.
I just like cycle through like whoever.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So growing up, besides Boss Man, who else did you kind of, go towards? Or you were heel all your life then, apparently, right?
Well, the older I got, the more heel oriented I became as a fan. I like Hogan, Macho Man. I actually have a video on my first YouTube channel about I asked a question to Mick Foley, and he loved the question so much. I don't want to get into the details of the video, but I totally blacked out his answer.
Really?
I asked the question along the lines of like, well, we're not. This was down at the Improv in the Waterfront, and I asked like, oh, you're a big theme park guy. Do you have any fun stories about Kennywood? It's like, that is a great question. Like, ooh, well, wait a minute. I wasn't expecting, a kind of like a praise from one of my idols
about Kennywood. Yeah.
About Kennywood. Yeah. Because there was like a time I go into that video and there was like a period in my life where like, I think everyone does this. You kind of stop watching wrestling. It's not cool.
Yep.
Or you're not into it anymore. But Mick just roped me back in. So I was saying Mick Foley got me in the wrestling too. So
yeah, I saw Mick, one of his first matches. It was dubbed an AWA card in Indiana. Dominic DeNucci was running it, essentially being the promoter. Shane was there, and Cactus Jack Manson was there. So this was awesome. The Moondogs, I was knee-high to a grasshopper. We're roughly the same age, so we can throw all these old lingos out that everybody were like, what the hell are these two talking about today? But yeah, I was young, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. That was one of my first live events I've ever went to, and I was hooked. But you're right. Everybody loses touch with wrestling, maybe right after high school, because you're into other things at college, and then you get wrapped right back around, and then it's always in your blood.
See, I was the opposite of that. I lost interest way earlier than that. I say around like 5th grade.
Wow.
Then I fell back into it in high school. Yeah, it was very unique situation because like, how come no one's watching this anymore? It's like, whatever. It's just like, no, this is awesome. You don't understand, But hey, it is what it is.
I was doing a poll in 5th grade. Who do you like better, the Rock and Roll Express or the Midnight Rockers? And I was asking people that knew nothing about wrestling back then. Nothing. So it's
No, you mean like rocking chair or?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So many events you've been to. What besides the one in the book? Because clearly, that's where we're going. What other events do you like to attend? Huge indie fan as well, right?
Oh, I can't get enough of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're very graced, and I'm miles, hours away from you, but make the trek every month. I think we're so graced to have IWC in our area because the litany of names that have just come through there and started there and that are going to continue moving on forward. We're blessed because that's not all over the nation.
No, we are very lucky for sure. But like, I think we just have a strong wrestling community as is. I mean, like, we talk all day about IWC, but Rise puts on a really good show. I'm excited for that tag team. Enjoy. KSWA, love those guys. And I know there's some ancillary events, like promotions not necessarily in Pittsburgh, but like, it's like the tri-state area. No, we're
pretty
gold.
Yeah, we're pretty good. I'll throw out, because I'm a huge fan of Cato as well. I'll make sure I mention Imagine, because what they're doing in the Altoona, Blairsville State College area, chef's kiss. It really is. It's completely opposite from everything in Pittsburgh, but it's just the same, product wise. Great. So we're going to promote everything here today, and we'll get to your book.
I love Cato. Oh man, I haven't seen him in years, but like when he would come down and do the Championship Wrestling Federation based out of Monessen.
Yes.
Like, yeah, Cato. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Good work. Good stuff.
So, aspiring voice actor, what have you done as well?
Nothing.
Oh, you're just really aspiring right now. So this is the voice that you would get right now, guys.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, like, I really have only two goals doing this voice acting thing. I'd love to be just invited backstage to either WWE or AEW. Like, I don't want a cup of coffee. I don't want to try out. That's not really for me. I would love it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm not too sure how well I would, thrive in that environment. Just come on in, check it out, meet so-and-so. It's like, oh yeah, this is great. This is what I do. Oh, that's awesome. And the second goal that I have, and I'm pretty not flexible about this, I want to be in a first-party Nintendo game.
Really?
Yeah, you know how like Breath of the Wild got voice acting?
Yeah. That shocked the shit out of me. So, okay.
Yeah, I want to do that. I really do.
That's cool. Do it. Take your shot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, even if I don't accomplish those goals, I know I'm going to have a great story at the end.
Yeah. Jumping way ahead, is there another book in the making?
I thought about a sequel because, obviously WrestleMania 40 is going to be in Philadelphia. Instead of take your shot, take me back. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Are you ready for those tickets? This is going to be my first. I'm going all in. So I'll get all the buns in today.
Yeah, your first trip to WrestleMania, do as much as you can. I feel like this is going to be my second time around. I'm not going to want to do, everything as much as I did the first time, but I definitely want to go. Hey, if I have to go to New Jersey or Delaware to see Game Changer, I'm totally doing that.
Yeah,
totally doing that.
Yeah. I wish I would have won the Powerball a couple weeks ago, and I would have then just retired. And then my goal is an RV. Not that I'm a big camper or anybody, but an RV and just indie promotions until the day I die. That I literally would just, because there's wrestling on Monday in like San Francisco, and I don't know this, but you're just at a wrestling show, a different indie show every night. I want to live that life. Behind this though, right? I would podcast every show.
Yeah, do it. I mean, you gotta have something to aspire to. You can't be floundering somewhere,
right?
You gotta have your eyes on the prize, and you gotta keep moving towards it.
Or I'm gonna quit work, and my wife is just gonna support me, and I'm gonna do it anyway. And then she's gonna and then she's gonna come downstairs and punch me in the face right now.
Love our girlfriends and spouses. Absolutely.
Yeah, they deal with us wrestling nuts, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
One person that you haven't met yet that you want to meet. And is it old school? I have a feeling it might be old school for you.
You know what? No, I think the person, if this was like a WrestleCon, WrestleCade sort of thing, and it's like, hey, Don, who would you want us to bring in? To be honest, I want Nick Gage. I would love to meet Nick Gage.
So you're a big hardcore, what's the word I'm looking for because it just left my mind, deathmatch type of guy.
The weird thing is I don't like deathmatch wrestling, but I love deathmatch wrestlers, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like Mance Warner, Matthew Justice, Alley Catch. Who's the the luchador, the woman with the blonde hair and the mask. Sadika?
Yes, it's something like that. I would butcher the name too. So no hate on either one of us. Yeah.
I just think that's such an interesting style. It's like, hey, let's just ramp this up to 100 and let's see what people can do. And sometimes it is very difficult to watch, but sometimes it is enthralling to me what these guys and gals can do. It
really is. I am stuck right now, and it's probably been since we were going to do the deathmatch tournament in Indiana, and something came up that we had to back out, family issue. But JJ Escobar, JJ Allen, kind of does some backyard, but does deathmatch as well. He's been hit by cars. He's been thrown off of. He's Junior Joey Janela, essentially.
I remember those clips. Yeah.
I found him on YouTube now, and I can't stop. Like, the family doesn't want to watch it with me.
He didn't just get hit by a car the way Sammy Guevara got hit by that golf cart. I mean, he got hit by a car. I mean, oof.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Crazy. So, if I ever head out to Indiana, I'm making a call. You're riding with me.
Oh, great. Yeah.
You'll be happy.
I'd love to go.
Good. All right, what else? Streamer. What besides wrestling and stuff, what else are you streaming? And then we'll get into meat potatoes because it's time.
I love playing the Legend of Zelda series. I'm doing Kingdom Hearts right now as well. I have a game review show, I guess you can call it. I call it 2 Good Hours.
Yep.
I play a game for 2 hours, and at the end, I just give it just a simple binary pass or fail rating, because games are complicated pieces of media, and instead of, I have my Switch collection. I'm not joking when I say I have literally over 300 games physically.
That's every game that's on a Switch, I think.
Not
Close.
Every game. It's close enough. So I was like, man, I gotta get this collection working for me. But I just review what I can, and I play what I want, and I'm not like a skill-based streamer. I just rather build a community, and we just sit and talk and BS and just have a good time.
That's me. I would pull up I have an Odroid that's got 25,000 games on it. Some of them arcade games and everything. I played Tapper for about 2 hours today just because I wanted to. I'm like, man, I love this. And I brought up WrestleFest. Of course I played that as well because I haven't played it in a couple months. I fired this back up because I had 12-hour days all week. And I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I am sitting here and playing video games until I have an interview later on tonight. Man, did that help the mind.
Was this the root beer tapper, or was this the Budweiser licensed tapper?
This is the Budweiser licensed tapper that they have on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Enthralled. Old games, new games. I'm a gamer as well. So, all right. 2 Good Hours with Dawn. Make sure you check that out on YouTube. But now we're here to talk about Take Your Shot. Dawn's essentially motivational book about wrestling and a wrestling trip. Correct? Because I haven't read it yet.
Yes.
It's in my stocking.
Yeah, it's my book guy, Mike Follett, essentially described it as a documentary. I was just like, wow, I never really thought about it like that. Yeah, I guess it is kind of like a documentary, except instead of a camera crew following me around during the shutdowns back in 2020, it was just me sitting at a computer, just typing a keyboard, just recalling all my memories I had about this. So,
and that's crazy. What was first? Let's talk about WrestleMania, because you went to WrestleMania before you thought about this book, correct?
Yes. So I went to WrestleMania in 2017. That was 33. So that the main event of that was Taker Reigns.
Right.
Yeah. And then I wrote the book in 2020, 2021.
What was we know that essentially we know the motivation, but I want to hear how did it become and how did it become your motivation that you're taking your shot the rest of your life, from being on Nintendo or being just backstage, stuff like that. Why?
Well, to be honest, no one would let me do their book to read for an audiobook. So I'm like, forget all this. I'm just going to write my own.
And then I'm going to make it an audiobook someday.
Yeah, yeah. But really, I mean, that was part of the reason I had a like an argument, like a silly Twitter beef with someone who thought it was toxic, saying that I was encouraging people to go to WrestleMania, saying that like, oh well, people can't save up for that trip, expenses come up, life happens, and that's just a very toxic thing to do. Not everyone can do that. I'm like, I was unemployed when WrestleMania 32 happened, and I never thought that I could go to WrestleMania, let alone the WrestleMania the next year. So, it was just I just wanted to inspire people. That was pretty much it. Just let people know that they can do it.
I'm going to stir the pot and be the devil's advocate. Listen, guys, WrestleMania 2, if not 3 years out anymore. I'm saving up for Philadelphia, as we talked about. It is an expense.
Yeah.
Don's not saying this. Mark is really just ready to pull people today. Don't buy a pack of cigarettes or a bag of chips every week, and there's your money that you'll save up for 2 years. I mean, it's what it is. If you want to do something, you have to sacrifice something.
Yeah, absolutely. Professional wrestling is a business. It's based off of the people who are in it. It's nothing but sacrifice.
Yeah. Listen, great plug for the show. Listen to all our spotlights of what these kids do. Literally, They're driving 13 hours for a hot dog and a handshake to get their name out there.
Britt Baker, got her, medical degree in dentistry, while wrestling. Wardlow has an amazing story. His story is incredibly book-worthy, and I don't want to spoil anything about his story that he told me. But he made a lot of sacrifices, and there was like a lot of self-doubt behind him too. But he gave me the time of day, and we like talked it out for like a couple of hours, and he was super inspiring. There's not a person, to be honest, there, not even just like a wrestler, but like the referees, the managers, promoters, their sacrifice all across the board. And it should be inspiring.
It is. It is. People need to dig a little bit deeper into wrestling to see that how these kids, completely younger than me, change their life to get to their dream. And then they should motivate everybody else because it's powerful. It really is.
Like, even if wrestling's not your thing, I mean, the lessons that you should take away from it should be life-altering, for sure.
And that's not even talking about the matches, because that should be life-altering as well. I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sitting there not having a job. You go to WrestleMania. You save up for WrestleMania, kind of doom and gloom. How did it change your life? I mean, how did everything just... Tell me everything without giving the book away, because I want to read it December 25th.
It was... I wasn't really excited to go to WrestleMania until it was the bumper for the show, Then, Now, and Forever. It's like, holy crap, I'm actually here. I'm actually doing this. Because in my 20s, I guess I was sort of maybe listless. I guess I didn't really have any goals that I was shooting for. I thought I wanted to do a couple of things back then, but now, plans change, and I never really, I mentioned this in the book, I never really took a hold of a goal that was truly mine. And this was it. So if I accomplished this goal, it's just a simple basic vacation. But I never really done anything like that. This was my first time going on a plane.
Wow.
So if I could do this, so what else can I do? And lo and behold, a book came out of it. So,
does the book go from I wake up in the morning, I'm going to ride the ATA, but I don't know if you know that song. I wake up in the morning, I ride the ATA bus. It's a song around here on the radio. Does it start where you wake up, you're getting set, you're packing? Is it completely just that whole, how long were you gone? A week? Did you do the whole week? Did you do 4 days? What did we do in this book?
So actually, the WrestleMania part of the trip, actually, it was about a couple of days. See, I think we took off Thursday, and then we came back. The wrestling part of that trip wrapped up Tuesday morning. We couldn't get tickets to SmackDown. I go into details in the book about that. But my one buddy, Al, his parents let us use his timeshare, so we were down over in Daytona Beach for the rest of the week. So I was down in Florida for about 10 days, but the wrestling part of the trip was like, about 6 days.
That's awesome. That's what I want. I don't know if I want to stay in Philadelphia for 6 days.
Yeah,
but
I'm not really. I mean, you're probably. I'm definitely going to check out a lot of the all the historical sites. But like, I feel like that's probably going to be like a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that'd be cool to do that. I agree. I'll probably do that as well. But I want to do as many indie shows because it's unbelievable how they're jam packed. They're on top of each other. You can't get to all of them, folks. You cannot. There's no possible way. But you stagger what you can get to. 24 hours of straight wrestling, you roll into WrestleMania and Access and all of that. You went to all of those, right?
Yeah, so we did the first day of WrestleCon, the Hall of Fame, a couple of sessions to Access, NXT, WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, and that was pretty much it for the wrestling. And a whole lot of the beach, yeah. Yeah, a whole lot of cracking some cans on the beach. Yeah, it was great.
Have you thought about, and I know it's mostly, print too now, but are you looking at doing some cons to, you're a bestseller. So, you and Mick Foley can sit next to each other, essentially. Yeah. Are you going to do some book signings? Are you going to sit next to each other? That's the same question. Are you going to be just out there more? Because this is a wrestling story.
Yeah, it's a wrestling story. I would totally love to go to a lot of like independent shows and push the book there. I really would, because I feel like it's a tough world out there. Especially it was a tough world when I was writing the book. It's infinitely tougher now in 2022. So yeah, I feel like I just need to get out there and just help people realize, that thing I've been meaning to do. Yeah, I could totally do that, and I like to do that. Sell the book at some wrestling shows. Yeah, I would totally love to do that. IWC, Rise, yeah.
Hint, hint, Jenny Plummer, because we know you run it, not Justin. Yeah,
she knows. Yeah,
she does know. Everybody knows. Yeah. This is cool. What more do you want to tell me? I mean, I don't want you to ruin the book for me, but tell me more about the book. What else do you want to spread out around here? Because I did forget to bring up one thing, and I want to talk to that here in a second. But what else do you want to tell about the book without giving anything away? Because, of course, we want you to go out and buy it.
Well, the book really comes in two parts, and the wrestling part is the second half of the book. The first half of the book is like my life was nowhere where I needed it to be. And I was just drifting along, and I just wasn't sure what I wanted, what I needed to do. But really, no matter how bleak themes get, you can always turn it around. There's always something that you can do. So I set up the first half of the book, really painting that picture of like, wow, this is not a good scene for anyone. But then towards the end of the more you go along in the book, it's like, oh wow, well he's trying to do something. And even after the book, even after the time in the book in 2018, I even got some ring announcer experience. So that was amazing. I mean, I went from just sitting on my couch to announcing a couple of shows. I have 4 shows underneath my belt, and I love doing it. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get a chance to do it again, but I did it. My girlfriend saw me do it, so I have an immense pride in regards to that. I announced some people who I saw wrestling down in Menneson for Bill Hughes, who wrote the foreword to my book. So in the Championship Wrestling Federation. So there's always something that someone can do. And no matter how bad you think it is, if you want it bad enough, you can find a workaround.
Great segue on the ring announcing, because you read I have no notes, by the way, today. We're not doing this over Skype or anything like this. This is pure talk. Ring announcing was the one I was going to bring up. And I essentially have done it 4 times as well. And I don't know. Let me throw mine out there right now. I don't know if I ever want to do it again. I did one right after my mom passed, as somebody said, this is your, not my show, but this is my gift to you for podcasting. Here's your time. Awesome. That night was completely different from the other 3. I'm a mark. Like, I was duly named. I'm a mark. I like doing this side where I can recap and everything like this. When you were ring announcing, did you have the winners, and did it kind of ruin it a little bit for you?
No, not at all.
Really?
No,
I was so bummed when they're like, "Oh, here's everything you need to know." I'm like, I could have watched the match and they're like, "No, you need to know this in case something happens." I'm like,
See, I have a kind of unique story. After IWC one night, and we all go to the carriage, there was some guy there one random night, and he was doing magic. He was making like a little ball like disappear, and everyone was just like watching him. And here's that word again. They were all enthralled with him doing his sleight of hand magic. And he had one of the wrestlers there, and he was doing his routine. They were standing side by side. I was across the table. I was watching the magician and the wrestler go through his routine, and the wrestler was completely enthralled. But from my perspective, I'm like, he wasn't that great with the sleight of hand, because I totally just could have pointed out, hey, I can see the ball from here. He's just hiding it really well from me. But wrestling is a very unique thing.
it's magic.
It is magic. I mean, like, you know how the trick is done, but just still watching people do it, it's like, I can't do that. That's still fun to watch. I can't get over that.
Yeah.
And sometimes the stories are just absolutely amazing. Sometimes they're throughout the course of a match, but one of my favorite stories told in wrestling was in 2019, the era of Argos, going from Jackson winning the reset button in January and turning on Pollock towards the end of the year in December, where they finally have that blow-off match. I'm like, that was just amazing long-term storytelling.
By the way, you can see all that on the IWC network for only $9.99 a month. Make sure you check it out. 2-to-1 Media and Justin Plummer. That's a freebie. But
I give them a thanks in the book as well. So
do you really? Yeah. I agree. That year was like the year of IWC. It was not just that. And guys, I know you're like, oh my God, these two are just gushing over IWC. Get there, go, whatever. But it's wrestling in general. The stories between these two were unbelievable. Match per match was, So I want to go ahead.
I'll gush about Rise too. I mean, I think they're a tremendous company that can go the distance. I feel like I love Brandon Kay. I love Christy. Cowpoke Paul. I don't know what it is about him. I love Cowpoke Paul.
Yes. I don't make it to many Rises, but when I do make it there, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I just have so much. I have so much fun at Rise. I have just as much fun at Rise shows, at KSWA shows, versus some other companies, to IWC. I just have fun at shows.
And that's what you're supposed to do at wrestling shows. It really is. Stop all this, because I'm going to spin it real quick, and you're going to be like, "Oh my God, nice spin, by the way." Stop all this negativity about whatever in your life and enjoy the faux reality for the 3 hours that you're at a wrestling show, because I want to bring it back to your book on this one. Does mental health come up in your book, that it was a major struggle or anything like that? November is Men's Mental Health Month, and we preach all the time that, hey, our email's open. People, you have my number. People, wrestlers have my number. People have my number. So if you have my number, my phone's always on. But for fans of Can Crushers, you have our emails, you have our DMs. Slide into them. I'd talk to you for hours. I'll call off work if I need to, because you're important to me. We love our fans. We love everything. Did mental health play any, anything in this book when you're writing it? You don't have a job. You sound like, and I knew you, but I didn't know, kind of down on your luck then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was, well, I don't want to get into it.
Well,
but,
not deep. But.
Yeah, there was like a 6 month stretch where I just wasn't, making that money that I needed to make. And it wasn't a mental health thing, but it was definitely more like a down and out. That's just where I was in my life at the time. And instead of, getting beat by that, I needed to find some resiliency and see what I can do to just come out on top for once. Come out on top for once, really.
And wrestling was there.
Yeah, wrestling was there.
And wrestling was there to pull you out once again.
Yeah. Yeah, funny how that works out.
Day after day, night after night. It's there. In my darkest times, people in wrestling have said, hey, we're here. You know me from, and I'm saying this mean, and I don't mean it mean. You know me from buying a ticket and buying a shirt or whatever, but you legit reached out and said, we love you. That changed my life. So, yeah, it's cool.
And even as fans, too, I've made some just amazing relationships.
Everybody but Megan Nelson.
Yeah, I was going to mention her explicitly. Oh God, what was that thing? It was one of the. It was at the Pro Wrestling Classic for IWC, and it was Phoenix versus Koger, and then Phoenix puts Koger on the door.
Oh yeah.
And Megan says, "I'm going to climb underneath the door." No.
She almost ate the door that night. She really did.
But it's everyone else too. I mean, it's Phil, it's Davine, it's Mike, Kyle, and I know they're all running through my head right now, and I'm forgetting a ton. Caleb, Bradley, even,
yeah,
Cody, Lurch. I can't remember his name right now. I feel bad. The barber.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah, it's. You don't understand how much wrestling is a family. And when I saw that you were writing this, and I was excited when you released it and everything, I said, I know this guy. He sat in front of me a couple of times. Freaking Megan Nelson, all of that. And it just encapsulates everything. And I'm like, I need to, hear his story, buy his book, support him, and all of that. So when you reached out and said, hey, do you mind if I come on your show? I'm like, no, Jesus, let's make this happen. I'm super excited. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the time.
I'm bummed that I can't read it for another month and a half.
You know what? Read it. It's a quick read. I like to think of it. You can get it done in about 2-3 hours. It's a great read to take on a plane. And hopefully if you read it and if you get pumped, it's the momentum that you're going to want to take into 2023 for sure.
There you go. What else did I forget? What else? Now, this is where you're going to spew off all your places where you can buy it and all that. Tell me more. What do I need to know? How can people buy it?
It's only available on Amazon. It's always going to be 99 cents on Kindle because I want the guy sitting on his couch, not working, to be able to afford to buy it. But if you want to spring for something a little nicer, it is available in paperback and in hardcover copies of the book. I have a website, thatdonparker.com. That's just the home base for everything. I have a couple of YouTubes. I have the voice acting YouTube. I have a gaming YouTube. I have videos going up every Thursday at 11. I might have. I'll spoil it now. I'm going to bump that up to 2 hours a week in 2023.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know. I hope you like Kingdom Hearts and Zelda, because that's all it's going to be for a while. My Etsy page isn't. There's something going wrong with it, so I just it was like a drop shipping thing. I'm like, I'm going to figure out how to do it. I never figured out how to do that. But once I figure out how that goes, that's going to be up and running. That's going to be some gamer related merch. And then twitch.tv/thatdonparker is when I go live randomly.
Randomly. We have busy lives. Listen, we're recording this on a Friday night and it's going on a Wednesday. That's how busy our lives are, right?
Yeah, we're in the middle of the remnants of Tropical Storm Nicole. It's raining cats and dogs out there, so no, we do what we can here.
Yeah, I understand. So talk about these kind of meet and greets that you want to do. Are you ever going to have solid or fundamental books at, we're going to use Rise this time, since I've talked about IWC every time. Christy says, hey, you can set up a table, sell your stuff, or you can have physical copies ever to maybe, hey, do you want Don Parker to sign it?
Oh, of course. Oh, okay. If anyone comes up to me with a copy of the book, Elliot, if you want me to sign it, it will be automatically signed. No cost. Don't worry about it. And I got to say, signing a book, it is a cool feeling. Signing your own book, it's awesome.
I would imagine.
When I ordered the first copy of my book as an author's print, Amazon messed up the delivery. So when I opened up the package, I legitimately got all these cans of body spray from my neighbor down the street. So I had to run down a couple of doors down. I'm knocking on the door. The wife answers. He's like, hey, are you? Yeah, I am. I was like, oh, we got this. I'm like, I'm sorry I opened your package. I was so excited. I ordered my book off of Amazon. No, they don't know me from Adam. So they probably just thought I just ordered some rando book off of Amazon. Oh, you ordered a book off of Amazon? Aw, good for you. No, you don't understand. This is my book.
And there's the story that I wanted. I did not know any of it. Here's the story. That's awesome.
That legitimately happened. So, yeah, thanks Amazon. I don't think they got a copy of my book. I'm going to have to send them something. But
you're going to send Amazon or your neighbors a copy of your book?
Oh, my neighbor. You're sorry I opened up your Axe body spray.
Here's an autographed signing of my book. Hope you're wrestling fans or you need motivation.
I was creeping on his Facebook. He does jiu-jitsu, so I don't know. Maybe. Could be. I don't see him at any shows. Maybe he doesn't know they exist. I don't know.
Well, there you go. Now you can start networking to be not a promoter, but promoting the wrestling business in Pittsburgh.
Right? Yeah. I feel like our fans really do that. Our fans really put on Pittsburgh wrestling.
Yeah. Listen, yeah, we do. I don't know how many times you listen to weekend wrap-ups or anything that we have. I'm like, yeah, that happened in IWC 2 years ago. WWE is just stealing it now, or AEW, Britt brought it from IWC, and no disrespect. We're on the cusp here in Pittsburgh. We do stuff.
We have an amazing tag team scene. I am so excited for that tag team tournament and Rise in the next couple of weeks.
Runway. I'm pulling for my boys. I'm pulling for my boys.
You know what? It's going to be them in Primal Fear in the semis, but man, I don't know.
Runway. I don't know. My boys through and through. I want to ask you one question, and then we'll leave it at this. Fraternity, okay? You remember the fraternity?
Forever.
Right. Did WWE steal that and make the Street Profits?
Oh.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they had to have.
Yeah.
They had to have.
Street Profits came 5 years after Fraternity.
I had an idea for a fraternity tag team gimmick. But the fraternity, what they do is a million times better than like anything I could have done. Oh, and the Street Profit, yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Had to have. Had to have.
Without a doubt. As thank you. Still, I don't care what anybody says. I'll get slack from the main event, Money Shot, anybody. Still the greatest tag team ever.
See, I'm more of a main event guy.
I know. I think like Gannon and Duke hate me because I have booed them, and I can continue to boo them because they're the ones that defeated the fraternity the first time. Amazing people, amazing human beings.
Oh yeah.
I never want them to win.
I always want them to win. I mean, like when I say they're my favorite tag team, I mean they are legitimately my favorite tag team of all time. They rank above the Rock and Roll Express and Road Warriors. Believe it or not, that's a bold statement. I don't care. I will die on that.
That's crazy. That they should be signed. They should be signed. Shame on anybody that didn't sign them, and that's the three big ones.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
Don, I had a blast. This is awesome. You need to write more books. You need just to come on the show and talk wrestling with us. We need to do this more. Do a recap with us someday because I could open a Corona right now and throw some Di-Serona in it and sit here and talk for another couple hours about wrestling. This was fun.
You know what, Sam? I wish we can do this again fairly quick. So hey, you're watching Full Gear, right? That's tomorrow?
No, Full Gear is the 19th. Next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay. Yeah, all my dates are mixed up right now.
Oh, yeah, but for you guys, it is 3 days away. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
For you guys, it's 3 days away. But for us,
I'm still learning to play that time game. I mean, like, I record streams, but then I put them in the can. So I have something to release every Thursday at 11. Hey, check it out, that Don Parker streams. So I'm still used to like, kind of like future dating things.
Tell me about it. I have other spotlights that they're sensitive dated because of things happening, but it was the only time I could record with them because this person is off into, Guam for 3 weeks, and I'm like, when the hell am I going to record with you when you're in Guam and there's no internet service? They're like, just don't say anything. I'm like, no shit. So, yeah, I understand that. And there's times that we're like, do you remember when this person did this? Oh, shit, that didn't happen yet. That's a month away.
It's a fun problem to have. It really
is a fun problem to have. I would like to invite you back on to do the recap with us of Full Gear, essentially, is what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
And do that recap. You're going to watch Full Gear. Me and my co-host will get you in our whole other process that we do. Recap a pay-per-view with us. That would be fun. But you have to be drinking during it.
Yeah, not a problem. What are we drinking? What are we supposed to be drinking?
Whatever you want to drink. Sometimes it's straight liquor. Sometimes it's Corona and Di-Serona. Sometimes it's whatever beer the season is.
See, I could probably sip some whiskey doing this. That's going to be fun. Yeah.
There you go. Look out for that. That will release on Saturday the 26th. Dawn will be back to recap Full Gear with us. This is going to be fun. I'm excited.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Dawn, thanks for joining me tonight or early on the morning when you're listening to this. I had a blast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really do appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the all-around good guy, Don Parker. Man, we could have gone for hours just talking wrestling. Go out, support him, buy his book, Take Your Shot. Use it. Maybe read it twice. Read it for the wrestling aspect of it the first time, and then really deep dive and see if you can compare and get that motivation that Don talks about in this book and really just like take it in. Because oh my God, it's like I've been drinking, but I'm going drinking shortly. But when we were talking about how wrestlers really motivate you, guys, I say this on Spotlights all the time. I love the stories. I love the stories behind anybody that's been in the wrestling business. Don's in it now. He's announced, yeah, you can say that, whatever. But he's written a book about wrestling and motivation and everything. Just to hear that story today, I'm jazzed up again because this is what it's about. When you hear these stories about all the kids that are, just getting into wrestling, they're pushing and what they gave up, family life, just that and everything else, it's so amazing. It really is. Wrestling is a motivational life tool that you should just wrap your heads around and run with it. Man, I was blessed to have Don on the show today. This is gonna be fun. I can't wait. Don's gonna come on and do the Full Gear wrap up with us, and I can only imagine, man. He's gonna be drinking with us. It's gonna be fun. Make sure you pay attention to that. That'll be out on the 26th of this month. So yeah. Guys, if you want to be part of Can Crushers, have your own spotlight, you did something in professional wrestling, wrote a book, ring announce, referee, your talent, you're a promoter, anything like that, come on the show. Tell us your story. Give us this whole motivation. This is what keeps me going, and I know there's dozens, trillions, millions, whatever you want to say, other people like that just get stoked to hear this. Don, thanks once again, man. You made my night. Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.